well, I want to see you succeed. But I need to have this money paid back. All right. It needs to be paid back. Because the state didn't create the kid. The state didn't, engage in any of those things you did. If you don't pay it back, you know me, Mr. Anderson.
Judge to dad, you know me, Mr. Anderson. Father owes $5 and 18 months on birthing expenses. This is the moment his own excuse runs out of road, because after 18 months and one $5 payment, I'm a good dad isn't going to be the thing that keeps him out of a jail cell. Benjamin Anderson is already locked up, already sitting in a county cell on a completely different child support case. But today he's dragged into a different courtroom for a different debt. And he thinks he's got the argument that fixes everything. He thinks being a good father cancels out being a father who doesn't pay. He's about to find out those are two separate bills. The case is simple on paper, birthing expenses, just over $1,300, split so a mother and the state of Wisconsin aren't left holding the whole cost of bringing his daughter into the world. $50 a month, that's it. That's the ask.
This is a birthing expenses only case at the moment. And while it's not current support, Mr. Anderson is responsible for the creation of his child. He's responsible for the bringing of the child into the world. And it is appropriate that he provide support and contribute to his half of the existence of the child. That's the point of the birthing expenses, so that the total impact doesn't fall on the mother or the state on behalf of the mother. And $5 over the course of 18 months shows absolutely no consideration for this file. In light of the fact that the arrearages, the birthing expenses are only $1,300.
18 months on the clock, one payment made, $5.
Your Honor, Mr. Anderson was found in contempt with a purge lasting 18 months beginning January 1st of 2025. We have received one payment on this file of $5 that was dated May.
We have received one payment on this file. The prosecutor says flat, like she's reading a grocery list instead of a debt no one's paying. $5, dated May 14th. There have been no other payments on this purge of $5. 18 months. Let that sit for a second. The judge doesn't blink. She's heard the excuses before. Everybody's got one. But she's about to hear his. Anderson's attorney goes first, and she's already working the angle before anyone even asks. Mr. Anderson is involved in the child in question's life. He is the sole caretaker, a beat. Then the detail that's supposed to change the temperature of the whole room. The child in question, Rosaline, has severe autism.
Your Honor, as you know, Mr. Anderson is currently incarcerated until at least August 2nd on another support matter. Overall, I have no objection to the staying of the 15 days. I would also, in the alternative, I would have no objection to the court ordering it imposed concurrent with his current sanction. Mr. Anderson is involved in the child in question's life. He is the sole caretaker. It may not be relevant at this time, but I think it's important to know that the child in question, Rosaline, has severe autism. Mr. Anderson is the primary caretaker. There are not daycare facilities that are currently able to handle her high needs, which is part of the reason that Mr. Anderson has struggled continually and has continued to struggle to pay the birthing costs in this matter, as well as the other matters. Continuing to have him sit in jail does not serve the state and does not serve the child.
There are not daycare facilities that are currently able to handle her high needs. It's a good card to play. It's also not a check. The judge doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't have to. First, I want to know who is taking care of the child now. Silence. Mom. So mom. The judge lets that land. So you're the primary caretaker, but how much does mom watch the child? And this is where Anderson starts talking.
Your Honor, if I may respond to that.
First, I want to know who is taking care of the child now.
Mom.
So you're the primary caretaker, but how much does mom watch the child or have the child?
Right now, well, obviously, because I'm in jail, she has her, but otherwise Rosaline's with me every night.
Every night? Then who watches the child when you're doing your work projects, because you do construction and those?
I
kinds of
take her
things?
with me.
Okay,
If she's not in school, she goes with me, or sometimes I get lucky if Ashley doesn't have to work, she takes Rosaline.
How old is she?
And talking and talking. Right now, well, obviously, because I'm in jail, she has her. But otherwise, Rosaline's with me every night, every night. He's not answering a question anymore. He's building a defense out of loose bricks.
She's gonna be 11 on the 28th. And that I would have liked to have her in court because child support seems to not understand how much of an upkeep it is to have with the one. You know, this is hard on her. It's not good. You're not just punishing me.
You're not
Oh.
speaking to me.
Yeah, you can't do that. So
Yes, ma'am.
you can speak to me so I can understand things. And
It's-
I understand what you're saying. You're saying you're not punishing me, you're punishing, I can only call her ROA. You're only punishing ROA because I'm the one who takes care of her. I'm the one who understands how to take care of her. I get your argument. I get your statement.
I mean, I do her meds. I do her doctor's appointments. I do her school appointments. I do her IEPs.
And I can understand.
I
that
have
too.
recommendations from the school who said, as far as they're concerned, for a father, I've done amazing.
I do her meds. I do her doctor's appointments. I do her school appointments. I do her IEPs. I have recommendations from the school as far as they're concerned for a father. I've done amazing. It's not untrue. It's also not the point. And the judge tells him exactly that without raising her voice, without softening it either. I'm not arguing that this isn't relevant, but this is a monetary thing. This is a cost to the state. He tries the word for it, the word he's clearly been sitting on since he walked in. So a debtor's prison.
From what I'm hearing, you are a good dad and you're doing those kinds of things. This is a monetary thing of cost to the state.
So a debtor's prison.
So what?
So a debtor's prison.
Probably what you're saying, it just is what it is. It's something that's owed to the state. It's like taxes. It's like the IRS. You still have to pay it back. And even this amount is.
There it is. He said it out loud in front of the one person in the room who decides whether he sleeps in a cell tonight. The judge doesn't flinch. It just is what it is. It's something that's owed to the state. It's like taxes. It's like the IRS. You still have to pay it back. That's the first line worth screenshotting. Blunt, final, no wiggle room. But he keeps pushing because in his head, the caretaking argument is bulletproof. Besides Rosaline, I have 5 other kids that live with me.
Okay. Judge, I also have, besides Rosaline, I have 5 other kids that
know.
live with me.
I know.
$50, especially with,
But you've created these kids and there's cost to the state and that has to be paid back. So that's what it is and where we are.
I know, the judge says, and there's no cruelty in it, just math, but you've created these kids and there's a cost to the state and that has to be paid back. That's what it is. And that's where we are. Second quotable line. And it cuts through every excuse he's built in the last 90 seconds. Now, here's where it should humanize him, because it does a little. He's not lying about the caretaking. The school report is real. The 11-year-old with autism who can, in his words, reprogram your computer, but can't speak a normal sentence. That's a real kid with real needs and a father who, by every account outside this hearing, is showing up for her every single day. He mentions, almost as an aside, that today is his birthday and that he almost brought her to court just because he hasn't seen her in a while. For a second, the room isn't a debt hearing anymore. It's a man measuring his life in missed nights with his daughter. But the state doesn't run on sympathy. It runs on payments. And the prosecutor makes sure that distinction survives the moment. The fact remains $5 distributed to this case in 18 months is not an effort. she says.
Going to say in response to Mr. Anderson's assertions through his attorney aren't specifically necessary. Certainly some of the facts are would be disputed based on what was testified to and stated at the hearing with Judge Winton Rowe, which Mr. Anderson and myself are the only ones who was present for. But the fact remains, $5 distributed to this case in 18 months is not an effort. This is a legal requirement. It's an order of the court. And the fact that this child has special needs, the fact that Mr. Anderson apparently provides for the primary amount of care for this child doesn't change the fact that he has other obligations, just like it didn't change the fact that he has legal obligations to the elder child. That is a question as to why he's incarcerated now. So I believe staying 15 days for a period of 1 year is appropriate so that Mr. Anderson understands that he has to meet all of his obligations, make a substantial effort at making all of his obligations. And that just
This is a legal requirement. It's an order of the court. The fact that this child has special needs doesn't change the fact that he has other obligations. Pattern interrupt. The judge cuts through the back and forth with one line that resets the entire room. I'm a money judge. 4 words, no apology attached to them. That's the third clip worthy moment because it tells you exactly what kind of hearing this always was underneath the caretaking talk and the debtor's prison complaint. It was never about whether he's a good dad. It was about whether the check clears. Now the stakes climb. The prosecutor asked for 15 days, stayed, and a full year to make it right at $50 a month. Anderson's attorney doesn't fight it. She can't, not really, not with $5 on the board.
And that it is simply birthing expenses and not continuing support for this child. I am requesting a sanction to be imposed but stayed, specifically 15 days, and that the purge be extended for a period of 1 year, remaining at making the payment of $50 per month.
She only asks that if there's jail time, it run alongside the sentence he's already serving. And then the judge does something nobody in the room expects. She cuts the number. I'm willing to reduce it to $25 a month, she says, because to me that's fair. And then immediately the line that undercuts any idea that mercy means the debt disappears and you're going to pay it back. Because if you don't pay it back, you know me, Mr. Anderson.
All right. And so here's the thing, and I understand, and I'm going to tell you, I think everybody knows here, I'm a money judge. I make sure that people, it's part of life, that's part of the world, whether it's a fine or fee, whether it's a sanction, whether it's, a repayment of costs. I do understand your situation, Mr. Anderson, and I do understand that you have other children that you are paying child support for and or taking care of a lot. And when you have them, it costs a lot to have a kid, especially the older they grow. And I'm going to say generally, and I'm like, I do go, Miss Thomas Schmidt, this is a small amount, $50. But I am willing, because I want to see you do well. I want to see you succeed. But I need to have this money paid back. All right. It needs to be paid back because the state didn't create the kid. The state didn't, engage in any of those things you did. And that's why ROA is here. And the state had to pay those birthing costs. All right. And so that's reimbursement. And Ms. Thomas Schmidt, I get completely your argument. And I do understand that $50 a month is a small amount. I'm willing to reduce it to $25 a month. Because to me, that's fair, and you're going to pay it back. Because if you don't pay it back,
I will send you to jail. That's the moment. That's the whole video in one sentence. She's not the villain here, and she's not letting him cast her as one either. She gave him a break and told him in the same breath exactly what happens if he wastes it. But the break comes with a catch. She doesn't stay 15 days like the state asked for. She adds 5 more. I am going to tell you, I'm going to do 20 days of jail, not 15. She lets that number sit before she explains it. I lowered the cost, but it's going to be a bigger sanction if you're not able to pay it. You understand that? He says, yes, quietly. The talking has stopped. $25 a month, starting in September. 20 days hanging over his head if he misses it. A review hearing already on the books. And this is where his own words come back around on him, because earlier half, joking half, not. He tells the judge he's going to make sure he's not sitting in this courtroom next year on his birthday in trouble again.
I don't want her to hear me say anything.
I almost
I
brought her
have to
with
say.
today. Just because I haven't seen her and it's my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, I remember this from Miss Schmidt. I'll remember this.
No, that is
I won't-
inappropriate.
No, I'm gonna make sure I'm
No.
not in here next year on my birthday.
Well, if that's what you mean in a positive way, but if you're saying it in a negative
No, I
way,
think of it in a positive way.
because if it's
I
in a
believe it.
negative way and you're making a threat towards
No,
Ms.
I
Thomas
mean in a
Schmidt,
Positive way. I'll make sure I'm not in here next year on my birthday.
okay, so it wasn't
And nope, it's not a threat. I'm
Not a
that
threat.
dumb.
not a negative statement,
I'm gonna make my payments.
because if it was,
I will make my payments and not have to worry.
She asks him pointedly whether that's a threat. Not a threat, he says. I'm going to make my payments. We'll see, because November 14th is already on the calendar.
so it sounds like you're doing what you need to do. October 14th.
I
at
believe
10:30.
that works. I don't have my calendar
I have it,
accessible,
that's
but
what
it
child
should
court
work.
sanctions. Yeah, so we'll just have a review hearing then. See where he's going, because he should have had, oh, should we do October or should we do November?
Probably November. That gives him 2 months.
That makes sense. So November 14th at 10:30, okay?
10:30 in the morning, and that's not just a formality. That's the day this whole thing gets tested. Either Benjamin Anderson shows up with $25 a month, 3 months running, and starts closing the gap on that $1,300 debt, or he shows up having done exactly what he did the first time. And the judge already told him what happens then. 20 days, not 15.
But I am gonna tell you, I'm gonna do 20 days of jail, not 15. So that gives you more incentive of, I just want to, I lowered the cost, but it will be a bigger sanction if you're not able to pay it. Okay? You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's what we're gonna do. And then we'll have another review hearing, all right?
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure everything's going correctly.
And
I want to make sure and hear how ROA is doing, how you're doing.
She'll be there.
I mean, she doesn't have to be
Oh,
here.
I'm bringing her next meeting.
And then, but does she comprehend and understand? I don't want her to know that her dad could be in trouble. So that's my thing.
She understands. She's in,
I don't want.
she could
her-
reprogram your computer, but she can't speak a normal sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have her here, but would somebody be able to sit out on the bench with her? I don't want her to hear me say anything.
I almost
I
brought
have
her
to
with
say.
today. Just because I haven't seen her and it's my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, I remember this from Miss Schmidt. I'll remember this.
No, that is
I won't-
inappropriate.
No, I'm gonna make sure I'm
No.
not in here next year on my birthday.
Well, if that's what you mean in a positive way, but if you're saying it in a negative
No,
way.
I think of it in a positive